What do Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have in common with Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively? They're love bombing the press, also known as damage control. Let's discuss. Merry Christmas. In December of 2024, Blake Lively filed a complaint with the California Civil Rights Department, alleging that Justin Baldoni, her director and co-star, created a hostile work environment during the production of It Ends With Us. She cited inappropriate comments and behavior, including unsolicited physical contact and improvisation of intimate scenes without consent, or an intimacy coordinator. Lively also accused Baldoni of orchestrating a smear campaign against her through his public relations team. I know you've heard the terms orchestrating a smear campaign before, Meghan Markle, and we're going to get to that a little bit later. Subsequently, Lively filed a federal lawsuit against Baldoni, his studio Wayfair, and two PR representatives, alleging that smear campaign, sexual harassment, and retaliation. In response, Baldoni filed a $400 million countersuit against Lively, her husband, Ryan Reynolds, and their publicist, Leslie Sloan, accusing them of defamation, civil extortion, this invasion of privacy. He also claims that Lively attempted to take control of the film's production and used false allegations to damage his reputation. The legal battle further intensified with the involvement of Taylor Swift. Baldoni's legal team alleges that Taylor Swift has details that they need to prove that Ryan Reynolds and Taylor Swift did things to purposely destroy his career. They're also claiming, by the way, that Lively and her attorneys pressured Swift to publicly support Lively, threatening to release private text messages if she refused. They say that Lively asked Swift to delete text messages relevant to the case, too, which I do think could get somebody in some trouble. Swift's legal team has denied that she had anything to do with the movie, stating that she had minimal involvement with the film beyond licensing a song, and labeling the subpoena that she received from Baldoni's team recently as a tactic to generate media attention. I should also say, for the record, that Lively's attorneys refute the claims that they have tried to bully Taylor into any sort of public support. Now, of course, social media platforms have become battlegrounds for supporters of both actors, hashtag Team Blake. Those advocates emphasize Lively's allegations of sexual harassment and a hostile work environment, viewing her as a whistleblower, challenging industry misconduct. On the other hand, you have hashtag Team Justin supporters that argue that Lively's actions were strategic moves to gain creative control, pointing to Justin's countersuit alleging this defamation and extortion. As the legal proceedings continue, both actors face the challenge of rebuilding their public images and professional relationships. While a significant group of supporters view Justin as a victim of a smear campaign, Baldoni's reputation has taken a hit, leading his talent agency to drop him. He lost his co-host of his podcast and the closure recently of his Wayfair Foundation. The controversy has also strained Blake's relationship within the industry. I should say relationships within the industry, with reports of co-stars and collaborators distancing themselves. And from a branding perspective, Lively faced some pretty legitimate criticism for promoting her personal brands during the film's press tour, which some deemed insensitive given the movie's themes of domestic violence. Like, can we focus on what a great story this is? Can we focus on the moral of the story instead of you pushing your booze brand? Was one of the biggest arguments. Now, the trial is scheduled to begin in March of 2026 in New York City federal court. Both Lively and Baldoni are expected to testify along with other potential witnesses. The case continues to attract significant public attention due to the involvement of these high-profile celebrities and the serious nature of the allegations. That is why Blake and Ryan are having probably one of the worst years of their lives. Meanwhile, Harry and Meghan's negative headlines come with a little more bully baggage. Where do we even begin? Once YouGov's most shiny popular royals, the latest polling out of the UK suggests members of the public are growing increasingly dissatisfied with the Duke and Duchess of cheap seats. Harry's favorability rating has dropped to 27%, its lowest for more than 2 years. Meghan is now at 20%, the lowest since YouGov began tracking it in 2017, the year she and Prince Harry announced their engagement. Prince Harry and Meghan's reputations have taken a hit for several reasons, some rooted in public perception, but most due to their own actions. H stands for hypocrisy in this scenario. These two frequently speak out on issues like privacy, climate change, and social justice, while critics point out contradictions. Oh, I don't know. Enjoy your private jet while promoting sustainability or calling for privacy while producing multiple tell-all projects. Their high-profile media deals, Netflix, Spotify, memoirs, interviews, are often seen as cashing in on the very institution they claim to have left for peace and privacy. Harry's public criticism of the royal family, especially in his book Spare, TV interviews that just won't stop, docuseries, those have been viewed as airing dirty laundry and creating unnecessary drama, especially at such a sensitive time. His father is sick. We cannot forget that his father is sick. Catherine's in remission. It looks so selfish. And many royal watchers in particular view this as disloyal and damaging to the monarchy. There's also, and Blake and Ryan should probably listen closely, victim narrative fatigue. Harry and Meghan often frame themselves as victims of racism, cruelty, and institutional failure, which resonated with many at first, but over time, some audiences just grew skeptical, especially when new projects appear to revisit the same things as if they're cashing in on this. Overexposure and brand confusion. After H&M's Oprah interview, Netflix series, podcast, and book releases, the public grew super annoyed with their media presence. Critics argue their brand lacks clear purpose, shifting from royal rebels to social justice advocates to lifestyle experts. Let me teach you how to freeze ice. We could compare this to Blake Lively in the booze brand while promoting a domestic violence film. It just doesn't mix. These two things just don't go together. Now, while B is for Blake, it's also for bully. Behind the scenes, reports from former staff and collaborators suggest Meghan can be demanding and controlling. Observers believe there's a pattern of problematic workplace behavior, to which we cry, release the bully reports, Buckingham Palace. But Blake Lively also has a reputation for being difficult behind the scenes, kind of a mean girl on the set of Gossip Girl. In the UK, many view Harry and Meghan as ungrateful and destructive towards the institution that supported them. While in the US, some of us just see them as like self-promoting and disingenuous. Both couples on the verge of brand breakdowns, responding frighteningly similar. So it's the paparazzi pivot when bad headlines are countered with curated candids. Now, this might work for young starlets after a DUI, but not when you're accused of trying to tear down a 1,000-year-old institution. Headlines like, Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds pick on the PDA after her controversial Time 100 gala honor, and Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds smooching their way to the next tier, intimate moment on pitch after win. Or Meghan Markle and Prince Harry can't keep their hands off each other during date night at Beyonce's LA concert. And Meghan Markle shares PDA-filled date night with Prince Harry after saying couples in honeymoon phase. I mean, this is a standard and cringy PR move designed to distract from the backlash surrounding both couples. The hearts over headline strategy is not going to work with this crew, okay? Smooches don't speak louder than scandals when you're accusing the royal family of, oh, I don't know, racism, or Justin Baldoni of trying to cop a feel. Redemption by romance, using a carefully designed love story to rehabilitate your image, does not work with such heavy headlines or accusations. What they want us to think is, look, they're united, sticking by each other, even when times are tough. Unfortunately for the damage control divas, modern audiences are savvy. You are savvy. Genuine affection can win people over, but if it starts to feel scripted, it can quickly backfire. Go overboard with the PDA and people stop seeing a love story and they start seeing a PR opportunity. We also see similarities in the way both couples try to suppress negative headlines with high profile media opportunities that they don't seem to legitimately earn. Prince Harry's Aviation Awards. Blake Lively featured in Time 100's list of most influential. Meghan Markle, whose brand is barely 2 months old, invited to speak at the same summit as an authority on what? Calligraphy? Are we being trolled by time? Now, some have accused both couples of pay to play. While not always ethical or transparent, paying for positive press is a tactic some publicists use to reshape public perception. Some outlets offer guaranteed inclusion in positive lists like most influential, best dressed, power couples in exchange for money, partnerships, or ad buys. In Harry and Meghan's case, sometimes I think it's as simple as access to the pair. This even happens in the form of paying or gifting influencers and gossip columnists to speak positively about you and shutting down negativity. Not skinny, not fat, just saying. The redirect the narrative PR strategy is a pretty common theme with both Blake and Meghan, an OG crisis management move where attention is intentionally shifted away from a scandal, mistake, or just bad press and refocused on something more positive. By introducing a positive distraction, which could be charity work, a baby announcement, new project, or some heartwarming public appearance, you could change some people's minds about what a mega B you are. For Blake, it's announcing the Beauty Inc. Awards Newcomer Award for her hair care line and discussing her children during junket interviews, which was wild to see during this last Another Simple Favor. This is like her sequel to A Simple Favor. On the late night circuit, she was like openly and like lovingly discussing her children, which if you've watched past interviews with her, she doesn't always seem comfortable doing that. So it was almost like that was a red flag, right? And then for Meghan, it's announcing the success of her first season of With Love Meghan after we all visibly saw her get destroyed by the critics over this. And she's like doing a victory lap on Instagram because she got a season 2, announcing selling out of her loose fruit spread, or, pictures of the back of her kids' heads. To me, I look at this and it's just so blatantly redirect the narrative. Meghan hijacking headlines, tearing into the negative headlines by posting a random, not half basically cropped picture of her kid. Like, is that even your child? Who knows? Who even knows at this point? I should also say, back to the orchestrated smear campaign online. Who have you heard that from before? Meghan Markle in the Netflix series. We talked about Blake Lively accusing Justin Baldoni and his team of orchestrating this online the smear campaign with their publicists, working with certain influencers, how they could start threads on social media. Well, Meghan accuses people of doing that as well in her Netflix series with like no one challenging it whatsoever. They accuse people, including her half sister, who's actually suing her for defamation over that because her half sister's like, I don't know how to create an entire smear campaign. Get out of here. I'm busy. I've got stuff to do. So both women accusing people of these like huge orchestrated smear campaigns. Why? To discredit the volume of people online saying they're trash, because they want you to ignore those people and assume they've been paid off or something like that. When in reality, like sometimes a bunch of people just don't like you on the internet. I should know. I think the most alarming similarities between the Scandal Squad is the breaking news this week that Blake Lively's team allegedly asked Taylor Swift to step up and defend her. Third-party validation or influence shielding in PR, leveraging respected voices to restore credibility. Once upon a time, Taylor Swift was one of the most hated people in the world, thanks to Kanye West and Kim Kardashian's attacks. Taylor hid in a foreign country for years. She disappeared. She healed. God love her. She dated some hottie and then broke up with him and came back and like is now dating an even bigger hottie, an NFL player who has turned her into America's sweetheart. I mean, It's an amazing redemption story if you think about it. Today, Taylor is widely considered one of the most successful pop stars of the 21st century. It is often ranked among the greatest pop stars of all time. It's glorious to see this like before and after. And she doesn't want anything to do with this Team Justin, Team Blake train wreck. Like, get her off this crazy train. You are who you associate with. I say it all the time on this show. And that's probably why she turned Meghan Markle down for the Archetypes podcast. And I'm sure she doesn't want anything to do with Blake Lively right now. Shockingly, the Daily Mail reports that Blake's attorneys tried to force Taylor into publicly supporting Lively by threatening to release Taylor's private text messages if she doesn't comply. I think I've said it before. I'll say it again. Team Blake denies. But what does that remind you of? Last month, we discovered that Prince Harry allegedly sent a nasty message to Dr. Sophie Chandauka, chair of his Celebs charity, after she declined to publicly support Meghan Markle following a pretty awkward viral video at a charity polo match. According to Team Sophie, Harry demanded that Dr. Sophie explain herself after she refused to release a statement defending Meghan Markle when the tense interaction made headlines. Footage from the event showed Meghan appearing to move Dr. Sophie aside during a photo op while she held a trophy, fueling speculation that Meghan is just a real pain in the you-know-where, okay? Chandauka said about her decision not to issue a statement, "I knew what would happen if I did so," saying I'd get a pile on, right? She said, and number two, we cannot be an extension of the Sussexes. She said, we are not an extension of the Sussex PR machine. She understood exactly what they were trying to do. While a Celebs spokesperson confirmed that this is true, and there is a document, the Daily Mail reported that the foundation did not have consent to share the communication. Chandauka's decision not to publicly defend "It's Meghan Sussex now" sparked a behind-the-scenes feud, ultimately leading to Harry's unexpected departure from the charity. Harry and Meghan, and this is what Sophie meant by the Sussex PR machine, were trying to borrow Dr. Sophie Chandauka's credibility, hitching their reputation to someone much more trusted. And that's the same with Taylor and Blake, right? I want to know, A, have you seen a lot of these similarities? But are you falling for either couple's damage control tactics? Do you consider this reputational wrecking crew sweet or strategic? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video with a friend. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Kinsey Schofield.